Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Courtside Soundoff podcast. Once again, I'm Josh Evanoff. As always, welcome by the one and only Angel Ortega. Not a whole lot to talk about this week. We got some UFC to go over. We do have a little bit of boxing to go over. We do have a couple of other topics kind of filter out. This is a bit of a light week, honestly. No MMA going on. Not a whole lot of big boxing going on. We do have Gervonta Davis return. We'll talk about that. As always, before we get into the action, RogueEnergy.com. If you want 10% off your order at RogueEnergy.com, use the code SOUNDOFF at checkout. Let's go with SOUNDOFF at checkout for 10% off all our energy needs. Ladies and gentlemen, it's breaking into the summer. I'm somebody who plays disc golf a lot. You know, I like having my Rogue Energy bottle going out when I go out to the course, slanging that thing out there, and, drinking that keeps me hydrated. You know, anytime I'm feeling parched, go and take a sip. Code SOUNDOFF. Like I said, I'm a big fan of the popsicle flavor. Great popsicle. You know, and I know you're a huge fan as well. You know, I'm sure whenever you're going to the gym, all you're drinking is Rogue Energy. Is that correct?
That's all I need.
There you go. That's all he needs. And Angel, if you guys don't know, he doesn't post much on Twitter. He's fucking jacked right now. All right, he's in his prime. All right, he's looking like Conor right now. Conor McGregor. He's gonna fight at 170. Angel's gonna beat his ass. All right. Jokes aside, RogueEnergy.com. Code SOUNDOFF. 10% off your order. Get yourself something nice and support the show as well. Last Saturday night from the UFC Apex in Las Vegas, Nevada, a women's bantamweight main event that, look, man, let's just call it for what it is. It was not a great fight. A lot of it was fought in the clinch. A lot of it was just kind of bit of wall installing action. However, it is very controversial, and it's in some people, which we'll get into, are calling for a whole this is really strange because this is the fight that a lot of people are calling for a whole overhaul of the system of the judging and so on and so forth. Nonetheless, Ketlen Vieira defeats Holly Holm via split decision. Scorecards being 47-48, 48-47, 48-47. With that, Ketlen Vieira moves to a 2-fight winning streak. She said she's going to wait for a title shot next. Might get it depending on what happens in July with Nunes and Pena too. But regardless, Angel, give me your thoughts on the main event of UFC Vegas 55, and who did you score the fight for?
In the moment. And look, I do not keep track of my rounds. This is just off how I saw it in the moment, how I felt. I thought that Holly won. I was actually very confused. And I watched the fight. Like, I paid attention to it in its entirety. I didn't keep track of my scorecard in the moment. I wasn't paying like a crazy amount of attention like I do sometimes on the main event like that. But in the moment, I thought, and I still think I haven't rewatched it. I'll go back at some point. I thought Holly won.
Mm-hmm. Have you rewatched the fight since then?
I have not.
Okay. So did you have it 3-2 or 4-1? Just out of curiosity.
I thought it was a close fight. I could have seen it 3-2. Like just off first look, like not even like, like not having, like not actually actively keeping a scorecard. I didn't think it was like a Holly blowout or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. I scored it 4-1 for Holly, but I will concede there was 2 rounds in there that I'll say most of the rounds were reasonably close. I don't think outside of round 2, which was Vieira's round, I just thought was pretty clear. It was not a robbery. I didn't think. I will say that just out of the art of fairness, we talk a lot about like MMA decisions and like who they scored the fight for. It was damn near unanimous on Holly's side. Of the scorecards, I believe there was like 2 out of.
I'm looking at it now.
Yeah, I'm not going to count it. It's like something like 2 out of 23 thought that Vieira won.
By the way, it's 80-20 on the fan side as well.
80-20 on the fan side. Yeah, and that's pretty accurate. I will say that it was, in my opinion, a clear win for Holly Holm. Because unlike a lot of fights where like we argue, like just as an example, there's some people comparing this to like MVP versus Logan Storley. This was not even the case. Like this was pretty even striking. I thought, well, Holly had the edge in the striking, both via like I thought just like in terms of damaging shots and also just the amount that she was landing. And she also had a shit ton of control time as well. Despite that, Vieira ends up getting the win. Look, man, I think the more interesting thing than the fight itself is kind of the whole backlash to this. Angel, did you see any of this sort? Because I'm seeing people like Daniel Cormier, Brendan Schaub, a lot of people calling for like a complete overhaul. A lot of people are like, how long are we going to let this happen for? I'm not even disagreeing that it was a wrong decision. Is it just me, or is it really strange that this is the fight that we're using to call for a complete overhaul of the judging system?
It was interesting. I did see a lot of people getting made fun of for that on Twitter, but I think like there's always side of this conversation though. You know what I mean? Maybe it's a little bit more now because it's kind of like it finally frustrated some of the ex-fighters enough to the point where they're like, okay, it's time for change. But I did see this guy on Twitter making fun of some other dude. He's like, "This is the one you die. Is this the one you die on the sword for, bro? Like this is the one." Like I was like, "Damn, bro, you didn't have to go that hard." But it is kind of true though to an extent because it's like dude, no one is. And granted though, it was close. It was close to an extent, but it's like we've had shit in recent memory. You know, John Jones, Reyes comes to mind. We've had a really egregious one recently that I can't think of, Josh.
I can't think of which one it is, but I know we've had a couple of egregious ones.
I mean, shit. I'm trying to. There was a really bad. Let me see if I can see it right here, real quick on MMA.
Yeah,
so they keep track of
if I can also. Dude, Adesanya Whitaker was titting. No, I'm joking.
Let me see. I'm looking at this right now. Cause you know how I
lost
the most popular ones. That one's up there, but I feel like there was one that was really bad in recent memory that I can't.
Priscilla Cachoeira, her last fight.
Maybe.
Really bad.
I don't know. Obviously there's ones that are close and you know people are not going to die for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, there's been there's always some there maybe, and it's maybe like an undercard fight that I can't think of off the top of my head. Shit, Clay Collard and my boy House Manfield. That one comes to mind.
That was pretty bad. I
was there with the eye for that one, man. There were some in Bellator that were bad recently too. That I can't think of off the top of my head. But the thing is, there's been plenty, and this is in like and I don't know if it's because it's Holly, and she's such a big name. Because I don't know if people. It's something I didn't put into perspective until I went on to Holly's like Instagram account. I'm like, damn, Holly is like super fucking popular still. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Like
Holly is a big name. I mean, she has like a couple million followers on Instagram.
She got the Ronda rub. She still has it.
Yeah.
When she got the big knockout. Yeah. I don't know, man. It's bizarre. This is not the fight that I think people should. Now, granted, they can do whatever they want. I would not die on the sword for this fight. Like I said, I thought that.
Well, actually, this is a good question, Josh. I'm sorry to cut you off there. What fight would you die on the sword for?
John Jones, Dom Reyes.
Yeah, that one always comes up, dude. I love it
because it makes me so angry. I was playing it on the show why, but like Dom Reyes went from beating the GOAT essentially. He did. I mean, I don't know how you can score that fight any other way than Reyes.
You know what I would love to do, Josh? One day, I don't know how we'll do it, but I'd love to go back and we should do a live commentary of us scoring that fight.
I don't even think I could watch it because I watched it once the week of, and the night of, I got super pissed off.
You know something? I'm a rewatch it. I need to rewatch it.
Rewatch it. And then
what if I rescore it? Rescore it for? Damn, you're gonna kill me.
Dude,
if I remember right, we have it on the podcast. I think we have it on recording. I thought the night of Reyes won. I'm pretty sure.
Everybody did. Not everybody. Not everybody.
Not Nate Baggs.
I love Nate. I really don't care about his opinion when it comes to fighting. I love Nate. Nate, if you're listening, I love you, brother. But I don't
you can't respect a man who thinks Ally Quinta actually had a good fight against Habib, right?
That's a good point.
You can't take the opinion of a man.
That's a good point.
Right?
Yeah.
That's when it got chalked.
So I went and checked MMA decisions, on that fight, Reyes Jones, it's pretty fucking clear. And I've rewatched that. I watched it once on the night of, and I rewatched it that week because I think we talked about it on the podcast, if I remember correctly. And just to make sure I was correct, and I just got even more angry because, imagine going from beating the GOAT to just, now, he didn't get the rub of beating John, which would have been bigger than winning the belt itself. He loses in his fight for the belt, and he's never going to get that fight back because John immediately vacated and ran to nowhere. I was about to say ran to heavyweight, but he hasn't even fought there. refused to rematch him. Like, what a shitty situation. He got bailed out because of shitty judging. But that's the fight that makes me really upset. This one, I think it was a bad call, but, I mean, look, man, people don't, it's kind of funny, Angel. It echoes a conversation. We're not going to get into stuff outside of MMA and sports because I think, a lot of people like the escape of sports, but at the same time, like, other people complain about stuff going on in, like, the country right now about how nothing's going to change after a terrible event. People complain about judging, nothing's going to change. I mean, I'll give full props to people that try and get solutions like, like open scoring's one. People can debate back and forth about open scoring. I've covered Invicta in person, and I've covered a lot of their events, and they have had open scoring since 2020 or 2019. And it's the same. It's relatively the same fight. I mean, it doesn't make a whole lot of difference, but I'll give them props for trying. A lot of people just complain about judging, and there's really no attempt to fix it, so I don't really see a point in getting angry about it. And this is also not the fight I'm going to die on the cross for. It's very, very strange to me personally, but to kind of wrap up, yeah, I thought Holm won 3-2, but I'm not going to get too upset about it. And Angel, I'm pretty sure we're on the same page. But anyways, man, this co-main event was much better, much better than the main event. In the end, Michel Pereira defeats Santiago Ponzinibbio via split decision, another split, 28-29, 30-27, 29-28 were the scorecards. Angel again. Split decision. But who did you have in this one? I thought this was a very, very fun fight. I could have seen it go either way. I thought it was very, very close. I personally scored it for Pereira, but what do you think?
I did for Pereira too. I thought it was weird that one coach, Ron McCarthy, pretty sure that son of Big John had it scored for, not had a round scored for Pereira. For Ponzinibbio, my bad.
Yeah, I thought that was bizarre too.
But, hey, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, I mean, I gave rounds 1 and 2, I believe, to Pereira.
Actually, I'm looking at these scorecards. This is actually very scary. Did you see how they were scored? So it was a unanimous round 1 for Pereira. I'm looking at
as it should be.
As it should be. They had round 2. Ron McCarthy and both Michael Bell had a 10-9. Second round Pereira. The middle judge, he had it 9-10 Pereira, and then Ponzinibbio. And then this is weird. Mike Bell had it 9-10 Pereira. Third round, he gave Ponzinibbio the third round. So did the other judge, whose name I'm not going to pronounce. Ron McCarthy had it 10-9 for Pereira the third round. It's actually weird. I had it 1-3 Pereira, second round Ponzinibbio. No one had it like that.
Yeah, I had it 1 and 2 for Pereira personally.
Really?
The second round was very, very close though. I think that's what it came down to. I thought round 3 was actually pretty clear for Pons, honestly.
I'm looking at I fucked it. It's weird. I'm looking at the fan scoring, and the fan scoring has it 60%. It's 62 to 34%. They have it Pereira. But if I look at the percentages, they're fucked. It's 10-9 Pereira, 10-9 Ponzinibbio round 2, and then 10. It's 48% in the second round. That's probably why they had the round real close. And then 74% had Ponzinibbio round 3. I guess I was the only one who thought he won that round. And Ron McCarthy.
Yeah, well, I mean, all due respect, I think you and Ron McCarthy don't know what the fuck you're watching, Angel. Look, I'll put it like this. It was a very, very, very close fight, and I really didn't have a problem if it would have went either way. But yeah, man, I mean, shout out to Michel Pereira. As far as he's moving forward, he is now ranked in the welterweight division. He's ranked number 14. He called out Jorge Masvidal and he called out Nate Diaz. Neither one is going to happen for him next, and that Jorge Masvidal call out backfired almost instantly. But as far as the future for Michel Pereira, who do you want to see him fight next?
Anybody. Literally anybody.
You don't have a name in mind?
It doesn't matter. I think you fight anybody and it'll be an entertaining fight. He's one of the few guys that I don't think I'll be disappointed with.
Fair enough. I want to hear. Okay, let me see if I can find it. Because we talked about a lot how like his weight, about how like he is huge.
Did they take his weight afterwards?
Somebody said on Twitter, I wish I can find out how much it is. Because it's insane. And I want to have you guess, but I don't want, probably should have pulled this up beforehand. I'm going to be pissed off if I don't. Okay, yep. Guess how much Michel Pereira weighed whenever this fight was announced? This fight was made he started training camp 4 weeks ago. Guess how much he weighed?
210. 210.
Bullshit. He weighed 211. I'm surprised you got.
I'm on demon time, dude. I don't know who else you asked me this. I think you asked me, who was it? I had to guess. You made me guess some other shit, and I was like spot on.
That's crazy. I can't believe you went ahead and.
I'm not surprised though. I've always said he's fucking massive. He could fight at light heavyweight.
He literally could. That's insane. He looks like a weight class bigger than Ponzinibbio, and Ponzinibbio is a big guy for welterweight.
I'd love to see Pereira just go up to 185 because he has the frame for it, and it'd be such an easier weight cut.
He does. I don't fully understand why he's so insistent on fighting 170, but
he looks like a 185er. He could get to that title pretty quick at 185. Like I feel like he could run through that. Like I feel like the road to the title at 185. I mean, right now, if you're a good guy, I feel like you get to the title at 185 in a decent amount of time.
No, I agree. I mean, especially thinking like welterweight, just the type of the fighting style that he has, which is very, very wild and very, very crazy. That's going to be a fucking problem when he runs into those top guys who are just straight up wrestlers.
Yeah, a lot of control guys, like very, yeah.
I mean, if you look at middleweight, dude, I mean, fucking Darren Till's number 8. That's no disrespect, but he hasn't won a fight in like 2 years. Yeah. Uriah Hall's up number 9. Gastelum's 10. Hermansson's 7. Sean Strickland
is 3 guys are tied for 4, dude. What the?
Yeah, I mean, it's fucking.
I'll put it like this: right now, just inserting him, I think Michel Pereira could be a top 10 guy in middleweight.
No, I agree. I think.
And one fight away from being a top 5.
No, I agree. I completely agree.
Yeah. Which, look, for me, I want to see that weight change. I don't think he'll ever do it. Maybe he will, because he's still like, what, 27?
28.
28. Look, he's really young. And he still has like another 10 years in the sport. Maybe to an extent, right? We don't know. And maybe he'll be like, fuck this weight cutting shit. Which, look, the Brazilians have always cut a lot of weight for some reason, and they do it very late too. I know it's like a thing, I don't know if you know this, Josh. But, yeah, like, I wonder if he'll ever decide to change it. I think he should, but hey, he's winning, so it's working.
Yeah. But, yeah, man, I went ahead and asked you who you'd like to see him next. He went ahead and said anybody. The fight that really gets me fucking going, Angel, you know what it is?
The fight that tickles your pickle?
Tickles my pickle. Li Jingliang.
I was looking at that. I was like
13 versus 14.
Yep.
That gets me going.
But if that's not an option, who would be your second? Because Jeff Neal's booked right now. I believe the only available people right now are Michael Chiesa, Sean Brady, and Jorge Masvidal, Wonderboy. Above him at this time. Yeah, I mean, at this point, if they can't give him the leech, man, I don't even know, because a lot of the guys are booked. Is Chiesa booked? If Chiesa's not booked, I'm telling you, I believe Chiesa's not booked. We haven't seen Chiesa fight since the Luque fight. The Brady fight. Oh yeah, you're right. It was the Brady. Yeah, so outside of that, I'd probably rather. I mean, I guess Chiesa would make sense. Yeah, he's not scheduled to fight anybody either. Yeah, there you go. So. One of those 2 fights, UFC. Fucking book it, I can see either one of those, honestly. But regardless, man, solid win for him. We'll see what happens with him. The fact that he's ranked is awesome. I mean, honestly, the fact that he's made this jump from being like a super crazy entertaining guy to becoming like a legitimate contender, I don't think truly get the respect that it deserves, especially considering he I understand he was young, but to fight a certain way for like 25, 26 years, and then just switch that shit, pretty crazy, but yeah, to an extent, right? And I always told you, you could always see that he could be a good fighter. You know what I mean? Yeah. He's very, physically like talented. He is very athletic. Like that is very apparent. He just needed to put the brain to the, to the body, right? Mm-hmm. And he's done that. And I think he has a lot of growth. I think he still needs to grow a lot, and he needs to do a lot of stuff to change. I think he has the potential to be a champion I just think he needs to unlock that. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's going to be at one point in his career when now that he's a ranked fighter, there's going to be a moment in his career during a fight. I don't know when it's going to happen, but he's going to have to realize, what kind of fighter do I want to be? Do I want to be the fun, entertaining guy, or do I want to be the guy who's winning titles and cementing my legacy? And I think there's a lot of guys that have to make that decision at some point in their career. And for him, he has a lot of time still. But I think he's going to have to realize that at some point, and he's going to get tested, and he's going to have a really hard fight, and he's going to be like, damn, this is the shit I have to go through to win now.
Yeah, for sure. And I think he's already I think he's probably already made that decision, to be honest with you. The fact that he's toned down the craziness, I think he's ready for a real run, you know? But that all remains to be seen, because, I mean, there's much
but
more
also, Josh,
there
was no crowd in that fight.
Correct.
And that fight was getting wild. I wonder if with a crowd there, that fight is a little different.
Yeah, maybe he gets a bit more wild. Who really knows?
That's the other thing, dude. Some people are affected by the crowd. We didn't touch up a lot on that, but I think that's a real factor, too, that we didn't really talk about.
No, it absolutely is. I mean, he's a guy that gets very, very wild at times. So, he's a guy that always tries to appeal to a crowd. So, honestly, don't really know how that would have affected. Probably, he might have got more wild, but who knows? You know, there's some guys that benefit from it. I think, like, Peje is the guy that benefits from there being no crowd, and the guy is Justin Gaethje. Whenever Gaethje's, like, fucking insane run, not all of it was no crowd, but a couple of fights were no crowd, and he was just wrecking dudes, you know? But, yeah, man, we'll see what happens with him moving forward. But regardless, dude, the fact he breaks into the rankings, good for him. Love to see him fight again soon, you know. But we'll see what happens. As far as the rest of the card goes, this one was a bit of a mixed bag. That's not fair. I actually like this card a lot. There was a lot of really fun fights.
It was fun. It was fun.
Yeah. Which fights are you looking forward to talking about the most?
I mean, you gotta go one down, man. Chidi Njokuani, man. He's done it. He's making a little run here and getting another finish, man. And once again, he's a 185, man. And if there's a division to make a run right now, I think it's that one. And he's doing it, man. I mean, no ranked opponent yet, but 2 finishes in the same year, you know, pretty solid, you know, and against all right guys, no one special, you know, no big name, no one well known. Dusko was a good guy though. He is a good guy. He finished Beher. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah.
They fought on the like regional scene. Yeah. I didn't want to say regional because it's a decently sized promotion, but they fought back in the day, back in 2018. Regardless, he put him out, man, and that's a nice little win. I mean, for him, I think you know, he's a little older. He's 33. He's not old by any means, but he's not going to get any younger. And I think they need to push him a little bit. I think they should give him a guy who's just outside of the 15, kind of lingering, and try to get him into the rankings, man. I don't know who that guy is, but maybe I know there's a lot of guys booked right now. I was going to say Jerome Mercer, but he's booked against Bruno Silva for August. But yeah, I know, right? But you know, that's a name. But you know, they need to give him someone. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, they have, dude, Chidi Njokuani. I could not be happier, honestly, to see this current run that he's going on. Like, he's defying all sorts of logic. You know what I mean? Like, there's sometimes these guys, they'll make it in the UFC somehow, like a Parker Porter, who we'll talk about. But, you know, just these guys who get into UFC at like a later age, because Chidi got in 33. Most people thought his best days were honestly behind him, you know. The opposite.
Instead, he's out here wrecking dudes. And obviously you can argue it's a certain level of competition, but like, it's not fighting bad dudes in there, man. I mean, Dusko was a really good dude. Got fight before, Marc-Andre Barrios, very good guy, knocked him out. The fact that he's doing it in such easy fashion is what makes it interesting. Looks like the switch just flipped in him, honestly. I don't know who's going to fight next, but I'll watch him fight anybody.
He's another guy who needs to fight again this year, man. I mean, stay active, right? You're getting these finishes. You're getting easy. He's gotten 2 pretty easy paychecks this year, man. I mean, he's already made a person's salary this year, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So keep it going, brother. And bonuses too, right? That's another thing we didn't even think about. Get another one in this year, man, if you can, or sneak in, take a short notice, just stay in shape this year, and Because, you know, the UFC likes that shit, and he's doing all the right things, and he's winning in the way that the UFC likes seeing. And like I said, 185 is open, man. Before you know it, you'll be fighting a ranked guy, you know? I think they could give him the bottom of the 15 next if they really wanted to, I think, if they really wanted to push him. Because like I said, he's a little older, you know? He doesn't really have to, I feel like they don't really have to give him that much, especially if he's winning the way he is. You know, they could really push him here and give him a guy who's on the lower end of the 15. Mm-hmm. Maybe a Brad Tavares type. I know Brad Tavares.
I'd like to see that fight.
Yeah, I know Brad Tavares just got back into the rankings, right? I think he was out of it for a bit, or he was on the.
Yeah, I mean, he did have a rough patch.
Yeah,
but he's been on a run for a minute now.
Yeah, so maybe that. I'm not sure what they decide to do, but I feel like they have options.
No, they absolutely do, and that's a really good. Honestly, that's a damn good booking, dude. Brad Tavares, I believe, is ranked around 12 or 13. He's won 2 fights in a row. Book that shit, dude. I'll watch that. Brad Tavares. Apparently,
you're welcome, by the way.
Apparently, he's scheduled against Dricus du Plessis, though.
That's a hard ass fucking fight.
That is a very difficult fight, but if anything happens to Dricus,
hey man,
go ahead and slide him in.
Like I told you, that you got to be ready on standby. That's why. What was what's one thing that I heard a fighter say recently? The best thing you can do as a fighter is always be in shape.
Yeah.
You know, and so that way, if the call is available, you're in shape, you're ready, easy wake up, let's go.
Mm-hmm. For sure, and I'm just like I said, man. I've been a fan of this guy since Bellator days, ever since he went ahead and faced. I think it was the Fiala fight. Funnily enough, that got me on his side when he knocked the fuck out of him in I looked it up right now. It was Thackerville, Oklahoma. And he knocked
Thackerville?
Thackerville, Oklahoma.
That's your hometown, isn't it, Josh?
No, it is not. No, it is not. No, it is not. But I know Thackerville is I want to say it's a really, really small town in Oklahoma. So I don't even know what the fuck they held that fight there. Regardless, knocked the shit out of him. He goes on. He faced Melvin Gillard, beat the piss out of him. I mean, he's a bad man. So for him to finally get this shot, he got cut from Bellator. I think it was entirely fair. He lost to Koreshkov, beat Hisaki Koto, lost to John Sultan, and lost to Cavallo, and that was it. They cut him, which is insane because he had such a long run with them. But yeah, man, I'm very, very happy he's in the UFC, very, very happy to him, and he got that nice performance of the night. That was a brutal knockout, man. There are few things I like more than an elbow like that. In the clinch, stepping away, puts him out cold. That's dope. It's so cool.
Elbows are always so brutal, dude.
Huh?
Elbows are always so brutal.
Oh, they are. Yeah, and that one was brutal, but I loved every minute of it. Yeah, man, as far as the rest of the card, Tabitha Ricci picked up a nice win with Poliana Viana. That is her second win in a row. Love to see it. Another split decision on the card. I want to get your quick opinions on this one. Park Jun-Young defeating Eric Anderson. I thought this was a bad call. What'd you think?
This one's I would have to rewatch it. I know Park ate a lot of shots in that though.
He did.
He had a lot of heavy shots. That's one I would definitely have to go back and give you a second thought on. But in the moment, I did. You know how you always you think someone won. You know, you go to a decision, you're like, oh shit, this person. Okay, I was like, oh, that's an Eric Anderson. Yeah, I did kind of have that moment with that one. I was like, oh, did I not see something? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It was one of those too.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a bad call. But at the same time, it was a close fight, but I definitely thought Eric Anderson won.
Look at it. It was 60-40 public.
Yeah.
Yeah. It seemed like it was a pretty unanimous round one and round one for Anders. 60-40 on round two, and then round three, everybody gave it a Park. What I'm looking at, and 51% of people had Anders defeating Park.
That makes sense. Yeah, as far as the rest of the card goes, Joseph Holmes picks up another big win. Our boy Parker Porter, man, taking on a light heavyweight too, Jelton Almeida, loses, honestly, really easily, which is disappointing to see, but it happens.
Oh, no hesitation on the takedown, dude.
No, none whatsoever. I mean, he's 37. He's had a kind of a little Cinderella UFC run, which has been dope. Love to see it.
That's good, man. You'd like to see that out of these guys.
At the same time, though, I mean, let's just be honest. We're kind of well aware that he has massive, flaws in his game. So this is the stuff that's going to happen. But anyways, man, disappointing. But still a nice win, honestly, for Jelton Almeida to go ahead and move up to a weight class and do that. Euros Medice defeating Omar Morales. That was a nice knockout. Jonathan Martinez defeating Vince Morales. Chase Hooper, dude. So Chase Hooper, interesting guy. Came out of the Contender Series, we know this. He went ahead and super young kid, 22 years old. And he's had this really weird run. After his last fight, which was a decision loss to Steven Peterson, he's like, you know what, I'm going to take time off. He took off damn near a full year. He came back, looked like he hit puberty. He was honestly having success in the stand-up, and he was demolishing Felipe Corrales on the ground. And Felipe Corrales, he's a good dude. He's scored some really nice wins in the UFC, and he just got brutalized by him, man. I mean, Chase Hooper, he's a guy that, Angel, is he finally here? Is he here?
He's a guy with a lot of experience. I don't think people realize he fought a lot he had 4 amateur fights. He had, what was it? A few fights leading up to the Contender Series, but they didn't sign him at the time, right?
No, they signed him.
They signed him, but they let him fight on the regional scene?
No. Hold on.
Yeah. Because if you look at it, he went 5-0. He won in the Contender Series. And then he had a draw, a win.
He was awarded a developmental league contract. The UFC's done this before. They did the same thing with Greg Hardy. They decided to allow him to fight in CFFC and Titan FC because they have a deal with the UFC.
And then they were going to give him the call up whenever it was time.
Yeah, correct.
Regardless,
so Greg Hardy too.
Well, he had his little lead up, and then he finally gets the call up. He wins his debut. Then they give him an Alex Caceres, which was a very looking at the whole picture, very weird, right?
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, at the same time, you had to realize how young this guy was. He was 20, 19 maybe at the time leading up into that fight.
Yeah.
I think it was a lot at its time. It was just too much. He didn't, it wasn't a good loss, but it wasn't a great, there's no good losses, but it was still a loss. You know what I mean? But it wasn't terrible. Steven Peterson one was a little rougher, but he was able to get through it.
And that was a fight where he was fighting against somebody who was pretty dirty, missed weight, faked glove touch a couple times.
Yeah, there was a lot into it, yeah. And, right?
So my personal pet peeve is people who fake glove touch and you talk you're fighting a 20-year-old dude after missing weight by 4 pounds and anyways, whatever. Yeah,
no, for Chase Hooper, I think it's a matter of growth, man. Just let it grow, let it build up. I think let's be honest, Chase Hooper was not going to be the next Sean Jones. That was not what we were getting. You know what I mean? I think it'll be a very long time before we see 20-year-old. How old was John when he won the title?
23 or 24.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a very long time before we have another talent like that who comes in and is just going to be that. It's not to take anything away from Chase Hooper. We're not saying he can't be a winning guy, but I think he was still a work in progress, because he was one of those guys who, he was still heavily reliant on jiu-jitsu, that was his whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, regardless, I was very, very impressed, man. I'm going to go and say, he's had a bit of a weird UFC run, but at the same time, he's so young. And the fact that he was having success in the stand-up.
He has to be one of the youngest male signings in recent time, right?
Yeah, for sure, man, because he's been in the UFC since 2019. He was 22 now, so he was 18 or 19 when he got signed. Well, you got to remember, too, I think his fight in the Contender Series, the kid he faced was also 18 or 19. It was the youngest UFC fight ever.
Oh, wait, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because that kid is now 24, so that fight happened back in 2018. So that was 40. He was a 20-year-old versus 18-year-old. It's the youngest UFC fight ever. By the way, that poor kid came back and got knocked down in the Contender Series last year, so poor kid. Anyway, but yeah, man, Chase Hooper, he's growing into his body, and damn, dude, he looked fucking good. That was dope. But yeah, man, as far as the last fight to go ahead and talk about on this card, Sam Hughes, not against anybody who came into the UFC with a lot of high, came in short notice, I believe. The only time I think Tisha Torres has scored a finish in the UFC, I believe. Dr. Stoppage over Sam Hughes back in December 2020. Since she went on a 2-fight losing streak, she was on the verge of getting cut. She comes back, beats Estela Nunes, and that's a fight against Elise Reed, who she's not great, but she has some solid wins. She's a former Cage Fury UFC champion. She lost to Jara Eubanks, but she did beat Corey McKenna. Dude, Sam Hughes fucked this girl up. She got the knockout in the third round. And do you see what her corner, I believe it's Saif Saud in her corner before the third round? Did you hear him?
No. What'd he say?
He was like, you gotta go for this fucking finish. You're better than this girl. Go get that. He was going hard in the paint. And then she went out there and fucked that girl. I love that shit, Angel. That shit gets me going, man.
Had to fill it in there a bit. It was going to look a bit rough, didn't it?
I mean, I love that shit, man. I mean, that's the stuff I love to see. Even though she was winning, still awesome performance by her. And afterwards, she called out Dana Cormier, called out DC on the mic. She was like, he said I quit in my Tisha Torres fight. I don't fucking quit. Did you see that?
No, but I love that quote. That's good.
Yeah, and then I saw her on the UFC Unfiltered podcast. Like, she's a really likable girl. She's pretty cool.
That's fucking dope. Good for her.
Yeah, so because I guess like in their fight she couldn't see or something against Tisha Torres, and I think DC like either said that she quit or insinuated that she quit, and then she got on the mic. She was like, "You called me a quitter. I don't fucking quit." Like I was like, "Oh damn, get him, Sam Hughes,
get it, Queen."
Yes, Queen. No. Anyways, yeah, shout out her, dude. That was dope. And not like I said. I mean, she was on the verge of getting cut. Like. But then, she beat Estela Nunes. She's won 2 fights in a row. Solid for her, dude. Love to see it. Very, very cool. Yeah, and she just moved to Fortis MMA, like, last year. So it's not a coincidence that now she's winning fights. The boys, Saif Saud and that camp, just all bangers. But anyways.
All love and respect out there.
All the respect. So, as far as MMA goes, that's it, Angel. That's it for MMA. I mean, we'll talk about MMA topics, but as far as recaps, that's it. There's no previews. We have a week in between. Bellator is off this week. Bellator, I don't know why they didn't schedule a card for this week, because for some reason they like to go head-to-head with the UFC or going on where there's other shit happening. Very, very strange.
What's the next card for Bellator?
They're not going to be back until June 24th, I think. It's Musashi. Okay, the Moose.
All right.
But regardless, yeah, man, no Bellator, no UFC, no PFL, I believe. Nothing really. But, I mean, we didn't even talk about PFL anyways because they do it on, like, weird days of the week. And by the time that we talk about it, the fight would have already happened. So, anyways, however, we do have some quick boxing to talk about. We're going to give our picks for Gervonta Tank Davis versus Rolando Romero. Rolly Romero. They rebooked this fight for some reason. These two were supposed to fight back in December. It got canceled because Rolly was, I believe, there were 5 individuals who accused him of sexual assault. Eventually, the claims could not be substantiated. So he ended up, they rebooked this fight after Gervonta beat Isaac Cruz. So now they're scheduled to go. It's going to be a Showtime pay-per-view at the Barclays Center in New York. I'm hyped for this fight. These dudes have been talking a lot of shit going in. They got a pretty big beef. And there's more than just, this is like some cool storyline shit. Because I'll be honest with you, I don't think this fight's going to be that close. I'll tell you my pick in a minute. But if you guys don't know, this is going to be the last fight for Gervonta Davis as a part of Mayweather Promotions. This is going to be his last one. And they're having to go against Raleigh because Raleigh is signed to Mayweather Promotions, and even Gervonta's kind of been like, yeah, they're kind of hoping that I lose to this fucking guy. And full credit to him, Raleigh's got some hands. He's got 12 knockouts and 14 wins. His last fight was a solid knockout of Anthony Edit back in July 2021. And, yeah, man, very, very excited for this fight. We'll go and talk about in, like, the future for Tank Davis in a minute, but let's just go ahead and say it. Angel, do you think Rolly Romero, who I don't have the betting odds pulled up right in front of me, but is a pretty big underdog, I believe. Yeah, he's a plus, actually, it's not as big as I thought. He's a 5-1 underdog, so that's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. But regardless, do you think Rolly could pull off the upset on Saturday?
Probably not, man. I think we've seen Gervonta be battle-tested so much lately. He's beat every guy, every champ, every opponent. I don't think Raleigh's ever fought anybody as good as Gervonta, or anybody, granted, who's fighting, like, there's probably, like, no one out there who's probably beat anybody as good as Gervonta right now, currently, out of all these young guys. But you know what I mean? Like, he seems seemingly untouchable right now.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen a close fight. I mean, the Isaac Cruz one, because he gave him a hard, he went the distance, he was tough. I'd love to see them run that shit back again, to be honest. Just see if it gives him a different look,
Yeah, well, I mean, also, Gervonta's hand was, I don't know if it was broken, but it was hurt.
Mm-hmm.
But, Regardless, yeah. I mean, this was, I'm going to go ahead and be frank. I think it's going to be a pretty solid, easy win for Gervonta. Just being honest. I think he really dislikes this dude. And Gervonta's a guy that I've never a big fan of. I remember back in 2016, 2017, and I also don't like that, he gets arrested, once every couple months for reasons. But as a fighter, man, he's won me over. He's won me over a lot over his last performances. The Isaac Cruz fight where he had to battle through the hand injury, and Isaac Cruz is a bad motherfucker who I did not realize at the time was a bad motherfucker. I know, Angel, you told me before, but I was wrong. I'll admit it. That Gamboa win was fucking destructive. So I'm on the Cruz hype train. But regardless, the fact that he was able to beat him with one hand is pretty sick. The Mario Barrios fight, where Mario Barrios, another really, really tough dude. That was a great fight. Santa Cruz knockout. He's won me over. I like Raleigh. I don't like Raleigh Romero. I like watching Raleigh Romero get into shit talking matches. I'm not sure if you've watched these press conferences with these two.
I'm sure they're great.
It's really funny. Just because Raleigh just talks so much shit and there's no real reason behind it. He's just I don't know, he's just one of those dudes where if he's just gonna talk shit to you regardless. And not a whole lot of it makes sense, but it's very, very entertaining. But regardless, these two dislike each other. There's a storyline going in of, Gervonta thinks Mayweather's doing this specifically to go ahead and replace him, and they probably are. He said he's not coming back. So, I'm gonna go and say Gervonta via knockout. I mean, I think this is his time. More important than this, though, Gervonta, this is the last fight as a part of his deal. Now, Angel, people have already been campaigning to get him. Eddie Hearn talked about him, potentially signing him. I know Oscar De La Hoya talked about potentially signing a 2 or 3 fight deal just for this sole reason that he could fight Ryan Garcia next. If you had to bet your bottom dollar, obviously this is a gun to your head, you have to give me a guess. After he defeats Raleigh Romero, who do you think Gervonta Davis signs with? I'm not going to ask who's going to fight next because he'll probably take a tune-up regardless because that's whatever reason why that's how that shit works half the time. But regardless, who do you think he signs with next?
Yeah, I mean, if he is to sign, or is re-signing an option?
Either one. Who do you think, after that fight, who do you think he's with?
I think he's more likely to re-sign than on, but I think if he doesn't re-sign, I think he'll probably go Eddie Hearn. Probably they'll give him the most money.
Probably. I mean, if I honestly would not be surprised if it's actually De La Hoya. De La Hoya is apparently, obviously it's just interviews, but he seems like he's really gung-ho on signing Tank. Specifically, even to just a 2 or 3 fight deal, similar to how Eddie's been treating Canelo and some of his other big stars, with the exception of AJ. He just Oscar wants to get him so he can get him on a 2 or 3 fight deal and let him go. So, I want to make a bold claim. I think he's going to sign with Oscar and Golden Boy. I think so. But that's just my guess. I think he's going to knock out Brawley this weekend, and then we'll see what happens. Move to 27-0, and shit, dude. Hopefully he has a big fight next, because he's pretty much, and one of the main reasons he's leaving is because apparently he just thinks that it's time, and also he's not getting a whole lot of big fights. I mean, I like this Raleigh matchup because these guys talk a lot of shit. It'll be fun, but in terms of when's the last time there was somebody who you really thought that Tank fought who you're oh shit, he might lose? When's the last time? I
thought that Isaac Cruz fight was looking interesting. I'll tell you what.
Well, I mean, going in or once as the fight was going?
I thought regardless, I was I have a weird feeling. I mean, I didn't think he'd lose. I was he'll probably win it. A good decision.
Fair enough. I mean, the last time, I literally can't think of a time where, since I've been, maybe Gamboa?
I'll put it like this. There was fights he was going into that I was this would be a hard fight, but then it fucking didn't matter.
Either probably Gamboa or even Jose Pedraza, that was it. But
I mean, there'll be someone as he only fights top level talent. There'll be someone, And I mean, he has been, but you know what I mean. Other guys, other champs, other weight class. You know what I mean? Yeah,
for sure. But we'll see what happens. I think that hopefully he gets somebody big next because, man, he's been champ for a while now and hasn't really fought any of the top guys, which should be fair is the story of most guys in that division, but still.
And he's very young too, but he's taken out a lot of good guys though.
He has. I'd say he has one of the best resumes in that division, but at the same time, he has a lot of good
out of the young guys, yes. Out of the young guys, he has the best resume.
Yeah, he has a lot of good B names, but not a whole lot of A-list talent on it, if that makes sense. But
Hey man, this weight class though is getting shooken up though. You know what I mean? It is.
No, it is. I mean, we have Kambosos versus Haney in like a week next week.
Yeah, and Ryan's gonna fight Isaac Cruz.
No, apparently not.
Oh, that fell through. Damn, that would have been a good fight.
I know. Apparently Isaac Cruz and his team said no.
Cunts.
That's what I thought.
I'll say it. Fuck it. I'm sorry, ladies.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, we live in a society where people get offended, so I'd apologize.
No. Anyways. So yeah, as far as boxing goes, that's the only real boxing that's happening this weekend. So yeah, that's eventually all we have in the way of previews and recaps and stuff. However, we do have a couple of other topics on this list. We got 5 from around the MMA and the boxing world actually. So we'll go ahead and hit boxing just because we were on that subject. So Anderson Silva, he had, what did you say?
No, it's just,
what's so funny?
No, it's just like, oh shit, here we go.
Did you laugh? I'm not sure what's so funny about this. We're talking about high level boxing right now.
The highest level, the pinnacle of boxing.
The pinnacle of boxing. The problem child. Anyways, so the Anderson Silva story continues. He fought in an exhibition boxing match against Bruno Machado, who is the lightweight champion or I can't remember, for UAE Warriors, either lightweight or welterweight. Anyways, they fought on the undercard of Floyd Mayweather's Don Moore. Didn't give a shit about that one, but I was way more excited for this. So Anderson Silva, technically he did not win this, but he won this. He essentially dominated the fight, and because it was an exhibition, it was not scored. He ended up, technically it was like a draw or whatever, but he knocked down the guy like 2 or 3 times. It was easy work for him. Easy work. In the words of Mayweather, easy work, you know. Bruno, hell of a fighter. But anyways, so Anderson Silva, he fights, and Jake Paul gets on Twitter, and Jake Paul is like a master of, he keeps himself in the conversation. To the 2 best guys in the combat sports community, Jake Paul, Conor McGregor. If there's a fight going on, they're talking about it. They're putting their name in the pot, you know. Even if there's zero intention of fighting them, they're keeping themselves out there. So he gets out on Twitter, he puts out a picture of himself as like he photoshopped his face on like an exterminator. So essentially, Anderson Silva's a spider. You get it? And then he also tweeted out that he could, you get it? So he can also beat Anderson and Floyd in the same night. Now that's obviously hilarious to think about, but regardless, is Jake Paul next? If you had to go ahead, and we've talked about this before, but Jake Paul is supposed to fight August 13th. There's been a whole hell of a lot of names. Mike Tyson, Tommy Fury, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., Michael Bisping, Anderson Silva. Those have been the 5 names that have been rumored to fight Jake Paul next. After this fight, where once again Anderson looked great, do you think it's time? Do you think this is the fight to make for Jake Paul and his return in August?
I feel like Jake already has the opponent, though. I feel like the opponent's already been made. We just don't know who it is, and it's not Anderson.
Well, then Angel, let me toss that back to you. Don't go anywhere. Who do you think it is? If it's not Anderson.
I'll give an answer, but I'll be really honest with you. I really don't know. I'm just going to say Tommy, but I genuinely, like, look, in the past, I've had good ideas. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This time, I legitimately don't know, but I'm going to say Tommy for the sake of giving you an answer.
Fair enough. I don't know.
Which kind of makes sense. I think Tommy kind of makes sense, though.
Yeah. No, I think he does. Here's the thing, is Jake Paul cannot really, I think the Tommy Fury one is the one where he cannot go wrong. Because if you look at a lot of the options.
I feel like, look, sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead. Coming off like a fucking ant. Go ahead.
No, look. See, the thing is,
wait till I see you next time.
I've listened to a lot of podcasts, and I feel like you're really high on the topic. It's crazy because I feel like everybody has the opposite opinion.
I know.
I completely get where you're coming from, but it feel like in reality, for you and me, I feel like it adds a lot. Like it genuinely will boost his stock a lot. But for a lot of people, I feel like it's not going to do anything.
Which is interesting to me because I think if you look at it, like for example, every other opponent that I named. Like there's 5 right now. There's been 5 that have been talked about, and Jake's been very, very well. Like he's been very upfront about those are the 5 names that he's like either in communication with or fighting next, and that being Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. I'm just gonna repeat it again: Julio, Mike Tyson, Bisping, Anderson, and Tommy Fury. Those are the 5. He's very upfront. I feel like every single one outside of Tommy Fury like, people are going to find an issue with. Or something like, I've always said, if he beats Tommy Fury straight up, he has my respect. Now, granted, he already has my respect to a degree because the fact that anybody goes in there and competes when they're already a millionaire and they don't need this shit, I full credit to you, dude. Like, yeah, you're fighting in very lopsided matchups where anybody with two eyes and a brain knows who's going to win there, but, you know, like, it's props to you for even competing. He doesn't need to do it. However, Anderson is 47 years old. Mike Tyson is 54 years old. Bisping is 44 with one eye, 2 replaced knees. Julio Chavez Jr., I believe, is only 35, but he's like 3 weight classes below Jake. And he has not won a relevant fight in about, 5 years? So, yeah, man. I mean, I feel like Tommy Fury one makes no sense, but I think you're right, dude. I'm not sure what it is, what we missed, because, I mean, if you had to pick your perfect opponent, who would you rather see him fight? I haven't really said mine, but who would you like to see him fight?
Probably Tommy, if I'm being really honest with you. I think that's the most interesting one.
That's where I'm at. Because, if people I respect are like, dude, Tommy Fury gets, like, Luke Thomas is one of the guys that, Luke Thomas, Brian Campbell, those are 2 guys that, like, Morning Combat. It's probably my favorite. Outside of course, that's on the podcast. I think they're probably the second best podcast in the MMA space, probably. I don't know. We're clearly far and away number 1, so it's really.
You know what's gonna fuck me up, Josh?
What?
If he fights Tommy and he walks through Tommy.
That would fuck me up, yeah.
Because we were like, damn, Josh, we were actually wrong.
Yeah, it would absolutely fuck me. But even then, like, those are 2 guys. Schaub is a guy that, like, I don't really respect his opinion, but, like, he knows the Paul brothers pretty well, you know? And he's like, yeah, man, Jake fucks him up. Like, it's not even close.
And he's fought, too, you know? He knows about fighting. Like, as much
he does. He's been in there, yeah.
Yeah, you think you have a better take.
I mean, he worked for the Showtime boxing team for, like, ever. I think he just left this year. So, anyway, he knows about boxing. At the same time, it's like, you know, I feel like we're like crazy, man. Because there's some people like I respect what I watch. Like, yeah, man, Tommy gets fucked up, and I feel like it's so weird because I don't even think it's close. That's what I don't even think it's close. I mean, if you watch their fighting styles, and a lot of it just has to do with like where Tommy's at and where Jake's at. Jake, can he one day be better than Tommy? Yeah, that day might even be soon. But at the same time, if you look at their styles, Jake is very, very good at finding a home for the right hand, and he's very good at slowing the fight down. If it turns into like a wild affair, can you find the right hand? Decent chance, sure. But at the same time, it gets a decently high level boxer. Tommy's not a world champion. He never will be. He's not even particularly good. However, there are some things that he is good at. Everybody laughed at John Fury saying that he's like Triple G, which is quite funny. It is very funny that he compared him to Triple G. However, at the same time, he is very, very good at putting a lot of pressure on you, giving him 0 room to breathe. He has very, very good cardio. His last fight, he beat 10-1, I believe, Daniel Bozovsky, who is not a great guy. A lot of his record's pretty inflated, but at the same time, you know, that's how boxing works. 2 guys inflate the records until they fight. That's how we find out who's the best. You know, that's how top level boxers are made. But anyways, he beat the shit out of that guy. And he did that by putting a pace on him, knocked him down a couple of times. And I remember everybody's like, dude, Tom Fury looked like ass. I'm like, what did you want from him?
What do you want from him, man?
I'm like, what did you want from him? I genuinely don't. Did he have to knock him out? Like, I thought it was more impressive because he just systematically like beat the dog shit out of this guy. Like, he doesn't have to go out and knock somebody out for it to be a nice performance. I think it's kind of like pretty dumb, you know. But I don't know, man. I mean, as far as who I'd like to see him fight, I'd be cool with any of the aforementioned names, with the exception of Bisping.
Oh, fuck that. Conor McGregor. No, I was kidding.
You know what's funny is I actually think Dana Newsy got what they've wanted, you know? By that I mean, like, they essentially froze all the options out for who Jake wanted to fight. You could tell he was angling hard for Conor, Nate, Masvidal. But guess what? All those guys, they're not getting out of those deals. And Jake, for whatever reason, thought he could get them out of the deal, or he hoped that he'd wait around long enough it would work. Now he's in a position.
He might have low-key fucked Diaz, to be honest.
I think so. I think he
indirectly, like, in some way affected that. And granted, I think Diaz was trying to get off his deal anyways, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Jake definitely didn't help it, especially I think if there was actual talks and Dana got word of it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And now, I think Dana Newsy pretty much checkmated him. Now he's in a position where he's to fight a guy that's either is not, because now he's in a position where, like, all the big names that we afford, like you mentioned, with the exception of, I think they all possibly could beat him, but I think the couple of the names that we're hearing the most, Tyson, Silva, and, you know, Fury, I think they all probably beat him. I think he's in a really bad position right now. But I will say Tom Fury's the best one of like, if he beats him, he'll get the respect. There's no arguments you can make against him, honestly. You know? You can't make the age argument because Fury's younger. He's been training for longer, you know? And people say he's not that big of a star, but like, at this point, I think the star, you gotta be a big star to fight Jake Paul is like kind of a weird argument to make because his last fight bombed. So I mean, you know, whatever. Who do I think is next? I mean, you said Tommy. For the sake of argument, I will also I'll go Tommy or Tyson. One of those two.
Really?
I don't think it's gonna be Silva.
You think it's gonna be Mike fucking Tyson?
It might be, yeah.
Oh my God, Iron Mike.
Which, by the way, I don't want to see that, but it might happen.
Oh, dude, you already see Mike knock out Jake?
I don't know that Mike knocks out Jake, and the thought.
You mean you know that Mike knocks out Jake? That's what you're trying to tell me.
Dude, he's so old. I mean,
but he's so quick for being so old.
I know, but at the same time, like,
dude, he's not Evander Holyfield, dude. Calm down.
He's not. He's 54, and he's the most ashamed 54-year-old you'll ever find.
And he's juiced out of his mind.
54-year-olds still shouldn't be fighting guys who are 25. That's just how it works.
That's what you think.
But, dude, if Mike comes out of retirement just to fuck up Jake Paul, what a king moment. You know what I mean? Like, what a Giga Chad moment. You know,
that's what's gonna happen. That's what's gonna happen.
It might, but we'll have to see. We will have to see. Next up on the stuff to talk about list, the news topics. Also in the boxing world, Canelo Alvarez, he's made his decision. He has ended his silence. And by silence, I mean, 2 weeks? He's sat around for 2 weeks thinking about it. He's going to go forward with the Gennady Golovkin trilogy. That's going to happen September 17th at a venue to be announced for Canelo's 168-pound titles. With that, he's also going to hope to go for the Bivol rematch afterwards. He's going to fight Bivol in December.
Oh, okay.
So he's trying to have his cake and eat it too. Angel, give me your thoughts on the trilogy fight between Gennady and Alvarez. Is that what you wanted to see?
We already knew this was going to happen, though. There was already talks about it, so I'm not even like surprised. You know what I mean? I just didn't know if he was going to actually go through with it because of the loss.
Yeah, the deal was if he won, he would go through with it. But then after he lost, he said he's going to rematch Bivol. And
he still said he wants to. I mean, we still might fight Bivol according to him. So
yeah, but
it's not like anything's really changed. You know, I feel like everything's still kind of the same.
Fair enough. But does it intrigue you at all?
I mean, yeah, I'll watch them. I think they'll still be. I mean, they'll still be good. They'll still be good bouts. I'm just curious. Hey, man, if I'm Triple G, I think this is probably. I would retire after this fight if I was him.
Yeah, I think so. This is the only.
I'm not saying it in a bad way, but he's like what?
No, not at all.
He's what? Damn near 40. He's gonna go out on a
40.
He is 40. He is 40. He's gonna go out on a big paycheck and dude, put it all on the line out there. You know what I mean? Like fight like you're fighting for your fucking life. Like no joke. You know what I mean? Like take all the risk you can. You know, make all the crazy, be unexpected and be great. You know.
Hmm.
So
I agree. I mean, this is the last big one. This is essentially it. I mean.
Because
there's nothing else for him to do, you know?
Because I think win or lose, he should retire anyways. I think if he beats Canelo, he should still retire.
Well, I mean, he's already beaten Canelo.
You know what I mean?
That first fight made me so angry. I don't want to get into it, but yeah, man. Even the second one, I thought he still won, but I'll concede that it was closer. I thought the first one was a pretty clear 8-4 for Gennady, but whatever. I'm not gonna rehash it.
I gotta tell you, I thought the second one was more of a draw than the first.
No, it absolutely was. Honestly, the fight should have been reversed. First one was a clear Gennady win. Second one, I still scored for Gennady, but I will concede that it could have been a draw. But whatever. So yeah, if I'm Triple G, man, I go out there, put it all on the line. I mean, really, there's nothing else for him to do. He just unified the titles at 160. He's one of the greatest, maybe not of all time, but around that weight class for sure. I don't think it's very arguable.
Yeah, he has some not unfortunate, but some bad luck.
Well, people ducked him forever.
Well, not that, but he was supposed to fight for a title, and that person ended up retiring for health issues. You know, this stuff happened.
Yeah, well, he did have a lot of people who fucking ducked him. Even Canelo waited until he was 35 to fight him.
But even that, he also wasn't promoted a lot, like very well.
No, yeah.
There's a lot of factors into it.
It is kind of insane to think about that he spent the vast majority of his prime sitting on, like, not really sitting on the shelf, but fighting, like, not the fights that we wanted to see him in.
Mm-hmm.
Or fighting as good of competition that we hope. Because, dude, the fact that he's 40 years old, and like, if you're 40, you can have success at, like, certain weight classes, you know what I mean? Like, the higher up you go, the more likely it is for you'll be fine. Like, George Foreman was 45 when he won the title. Bernard Hopkins was 49 when he was light heavyweight champion. But to be, like, 160 and to be fucking champion, like, that's insane, dude. Unified champion at 40 years old. You know, I believe he'll be 41 when never mind. He just turned 40. Turned 40 last month. So, yeah, man, it's insane to think about. But, yeah, man, I'll watch it. I'll probably be sad whenever Canelo wins, but it is what it is, you know? It is what it is. But, yeah, I as far as the last part, I don't really understand the B-ball rematch, personally.
He wants it. He wants to try to win that fight. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, he does. But
that's respectable.
No, I respect the daring to be great, but at the same time...
There's very few guys who would ever wonder... There's very few guys who rerun a fucking fight like that, you know, after a loss.
Yeah, but they should keep that. So I respect it, but... Definitely, it's not going to go any easier the second time around. But regardless, yeah, man. Since we went ahead and we're going to bounce from boxing to not even MMA, we're going to bounce to kickboxing, Angel. That's right. We're going to talk about kickboxing on this fucking show, which we never, ever talk about. However, there is a big kickboxing match that just got announced. Glory. At long last, we are going to see Alistair Overeem make his debut. Obviously, he was supposed to make his Glory debut. Well, not, I mean, it was his Glory debut. I was about to say, never mind. He fought in K1. I don't know where my mind went for a minute there, but regardless, he's gonna make his
Josh, fucking. No, I'm just kidding.
I know, man. Believe me, I'm on the same page. Regardless, after everybody was wondering is he gonna go to Bellator or PFL, he decides to go get back to kickboxing, and he's supposed to fight Rico in October. He ended up pulling out last October. Rico Verhoeven. Pulled out due to injury. He's now set to go again. Granted, it's a long time from now, but Glory Collision 4 in October. It's going to be a trilogy fight between Alistair Overeem and Badr Hari. The first time around they fought, 2008, Badr gets knocked out by the Reem. Solid left hook put him to sleep. They rematched the following year. Badr ends up winning via TKO in the first round. So now here we are, over a decade later. They're going to run the trilogy. Shit. They're going to run the trilogy fight at Glory Collision 4. And more than likely, the winner here is going to go ahead and get that title shot against Rico Verhoeven. Either it's going to be a trilogy for Badr, or it's going to be Overeem having the opportunity to become another kickboxing champion over 10 years after he did the first time. So go ahead and give me your thoughts on this fight, and kind of give me your thoughts on Overeem returning. Because we didn't talk about it really at the time. Give me your thoughts on Overeem returning to kickboxing.
I think it's a good return fight. Him returning to kickboxing, I don't know. I think him returning to fighting in general, I didn't think he had to do it. I think if he wanted to hang it up, he could have hung it up, and it would have been perfectly fine. You know what I mean? I didn't think he didn't leave. He didn't need to do anything else. You know, I think everything was kind of done.
Mm. Yeah, I agree. As far as him returning to kickboxing, I kind of don't know how I feel about it, but hey man, as long as he's happy, because Overeem in kickboxing is still dope, and I believe he still is. I don't know the intricacies of his deal with Glory, but I'm pretty sure he could probably negotiate a fight with MMA if he wants. But yeah, man, I like this matchup a lot. Badr is also older. He's had a rough go of it. I mean, he is not one of. It's crazy to think about because Badr is still a huge name. He's not won a fight since 2015, technically. You know, he lost to Rico via injury. He beat Hazy Gurges back in 2018, but then that was turned to a no contest after they both popped for PEDs.
Oh my god, both of them.
Yeah, he fought Rico
That's
again.
the first time I've ever heard of that, by the way, where both guys pop.
Oh, it's happened before. I can't think of the fight. Who's that guy who I told you before? Hermes Franca and Sean Shirk both tested positive for PEDs after their fight for the lightweight title. So that's a fun fact for you. But yeah, man. Anyways, he fought Rico in 2019. That was his second fight. Rico also ended due to injury, but that fight was still a banger. First one ended. It was a really weird fight. second one was at least a banger. He lost via TKO 2020, and then he lost via knockout again in 2021. And then there was a no contest due to a riot happening in Bader's last fight.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was fucking insane. So
Do we ever know what happened there?
Do we know what happened there? No.
I don't know what caused the riot. It just kind of occurred.
I believe so.
That's kind of hype.
Jesus Christ. Dude. Jesus. Anyway.
That sounds epic.
Epic. No, dude. I like this fight a lot.
Oh, you didn't get the reference. I'll tell you afterwards.
Yeah, I like this fight a whole lot. Anyways. But yeah, overall I like this fight a lot. In terms of returning to kickboxing, kinda A on it, but as long as he's happy, it's important, I guess. I am still surprised that he's decided to do it. I didn't know that Glory had that money to throw around to get over him, but
I guess they do, man. Kickboxing is big in other places, man.
Yeah, Netherlands. Pretty much.
Mainly in the Netherlands, but in Europe as a whole.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, man, I like this fight a lot. Very, very excited for that. That's not going down until October. Another piece of news. We're going back to MMA for this one. Junior Dos Santos made his Eagle FC debut against Yorgan de Castro at Eagle FC 47. Now, we should talk about mainly going in. This is supposed to be a title eliminator fight, so essentially the winner of this would get a title shot. Instead, on fight, essentially, Habib said, you know what, if JDS wins, we're probably just going to have him fight Fedor. Which, I know that, like, they're on good terms with, Bellator, because they've had Islam Mamedov fought on UFC 47, but I guess this shit must have been way more, in depth than we knew, because, like, even after the fight ended, JDS's fight, they're still like, oh, you think you can still fight Fedor? Like, they're still talking up a Fedor fight. Essentially, Fedor is going to retire later this year. We know this. JDS is being discussed as a possible opponent. Everything was going great. JDS is beating the shit out of Yorgan de Castro until I'm pretty sure he dislocated his shoulder. I don't really know
that's how it looked.
I don't know the full injury, honestly, but regardless, that's what it looked like. Fight's over. Yorgan de Castro wins, celebrates like he won the World Series, and JDS loses. Do you think the Fedor fight is still viable at this point? I'm not even asking.
I heard some people say no.
Who said no?
I've heard a few podcasts, and I've heard more than one. I've heard people say no, they're not interested. And I read something on Twitter like, this is a guy, and I kid you not, I read a tweet that said, this is the guy who's fighting JDS, or this is the guy who's fighting Fedor. Which I mean, I'm still interested personally, but I've read a few comments, and I get the perspective of it, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, I don't know. I mean, it's a retirement. If I just want to fight another guy who's older and a legend too, you know what I mean? It doesn't make too much of a difference. I thought they could have got oh my god, what's his name? He's doing pro wrestling now. Goodness sake, why am I blanking right? He fought, oh god.
He's struggling right now.
He's a heavy grappling guy, white guy, big beard now. Oh my goodness. Why am I blanking on his name? I can see his face. I'm just blanking. He coaches Victor Henry.
It means nothing to me.
I'm blanking, dude. I don't know why I'm blanking. That would have been another good fight too.
Josh Barnett?
Josh Barnett. That was another.
Josh Barnett. Oh shit. He signed a Bellator too.
That's what I'm saying. I thought that would have been another good opponent. I don't know. I could see Josh Barnett's voice. I could even think of his liquor. Can you believe that?
That's hilarious.
Yeah, was it Warmaster or Warbringer? I know it's one of those.
Yeah, Warmaster.
I could literally think of everything besides his name.
That's hilarious. Anyways, yeah, I mean, shit, dude. I mean, look, I don't think this fight with JDS is gonna happen. I think they still can run it. At the same time, I've always said there's a couple of names. I think that the Ryan Bader rematch makes sense. I think I thought JDS made sense until he lost, honestly. I thought Overeem made sense. I mean, now that you bring it up, Josh Barnett makes a whole lot of sense, man. I mean, he still is under Bellator contract. He's not fought for them. He's never fought for them. He had one scheduled fight. He got pulled the week out because I think the other guy got COVID or something. This is back in, like, something 2020, like November 2020. Yeah, man. I mean, there's a whole shit, dude. I really don't know. I think the Josh Barnett shot honestly makes the most sense. I really think it does. But let us see what happens there. I mean, they gotta nail this. Like, they gotta nail this, dude. Like, this is the retirement of, in my opinion, the greatest fighter of all time. So, I'm sure
he needs to fight another legend, though. I think that's
I think so. I think so. And Bellator handles this stuff way better than the UFC does. So, I have faith to look at the right opponent. Because I remember hating on the Tim Johnson fight, and you know what, dude?
That was right.
Seeing Fedor knock out Tim Johnson, he was on a hell of a run.
It gave you flashbacks.
It did. That shit was so fast, man. Anyways, man, we'll see what happens with JDS in the future. That shit was hard to watch. I mean, that wasn't even got knocked out. That's just old man stuff. That's the easiest way to put it. It is old man stuff.
No, dude, that's some real gang shit right there.
Anyways, last bit of news. UFC welterweight champion Kamaru Usman. We've heard about him returning in July for a long time. Even Leon Edwards said, "Yo, International Fight Week, that's what's gonna happen." He said that as early as a month ago. Obviously, we knew that Kamaru was struggling with a hand injury. Going into the Colby fight, he had a hand injury, and apparently he exacerbated it even worse. He had to get surgery afterwards. That fight, his hand is healing not very well, apparently, because of the tendons in his hand or something. Apparently, he's not ready to go. He hasn't even been cleared to return to training. They don't know when he may return. He probably is not going to return until the end of the year. Angel, give me your reaction, and really not as much of the injury. Let's go ahead and ask this: do you think they should do an interim title? The big thing, because UFC's already done this. Davidson Figueiredo fought like 4 months ago, and they're making an interim title for July. So what do you think about them making an interim title for 170?
I have no issue. I do think if Kamaru's going to be out for more than a year, they should just consider it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and dude, I heard the injury was as bad as he might not fight again. Bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it wouldn't be a good idea to fight again. Just so he doesn't fuck up his hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, as far as this, I went ahead and reported on this for BJPenn.com. Go to BJPenn.com to go and see all the top MMA news going on in the sport right now. UFC, Bellator, we cover it all. Anyway, so I went ahead and covered this for BJPenn.com. Apparently, the issue is that because of the way that his hand injury is, it's not just like he broke his hand or something. It has to do with like the tendons in his hand. And so essentially, if those heal wrong, I can read the quick quote for you from an interview that he recently gave. Essentially, because there's no blood flow in that with your tendons, apparently that's what Kamaru said. It takes longer. It's also right on top of his knuckle, and so essentially, if he doesn't take the appropriate time to heal, he's going to split it right back open. And he'll be out for a whole year. And if he really fucks it up, he may not potentially fight again. So apparently, he's taking more than enough time. And even himself, they asked about an interim title. He's like, "Yeah, I don't give a shit." Like he's like, "I really don't care. It just makes it easier for to have an isolated name as to who I'm gonna fight next." I'm just gonna go ahead and say it, man. I think they should go ahead and pull the trigger. It's time to pull the trigger. Khamzat Chimaev, Leon Edwards, interim title, and fuck it, July 30th. That card can use some help. Just do it. That's the card, obviously, with Nunes Pena, too. It's a fun card. I think it's actually, in terms of, fights themselves, arguably one of my most look forward to cards of the year. But in terms of draws, not a whole lot on that one. Fuck it. July 30th, Leon Edwards, Khamzat Chimaev. Because at this point, the Colby fight seems dead. I don't want to say that it's dead, but, I mean, when is that ABC card? Do we even know? I mean,
I don't know. I still heard they were trying to gun for that. Like, they were still trying to gun for Colby Chimaev interim title at that.
Ooh, that makes no sense. That makes no sense.
But it's the UFC, so are you surprised?
That's a good point. It's the UFC, so who knows? I mean, if you're going to give the top shot to Colby.
Hey, dude, Oliveira could get injured tomorrow and be out for a year, and they could give Conor a title interim shot.
That wouldn't be that bad, though, depending on who he fights.
But you know what I mean, though. Like, that'd be ridiculous.
Yeah, true.
And Makhachev might not be one of the pieces in that interim fight if that was the case, too.
Who would he even fight then?
Dude, it's the UFC. You know that's a possibility. It's not a matter of who's in a fight. It's a matter that's just it's gonna happen.
Yeah, fair enough. Anyways, man. Yeah, I mean, I think they should probably just do an interim title. If it's true that Kamaru's not even returning to training and he fought in November, dude. It's about to be June. The UFC has pulled the interim title trigger way sooner than what they are right now. I just think right now there's so many good factors going on because UFC really want to make that Colby Hamzat fight apparently. But at the same time, Colby he's out due to brain injury. He suffered from Masvidal. So, anyways, they still want to find a way to feed Nate to Chimaev. I mean, there's a lot of different stuff going on right now. I'd say, you know what, just fuck it, dude. Let Colby figure out his legal situation with Masvidal. Because I don't really think he deserves to be in a position where he even fights for a title. I mean, he beat Masvidal and he's won like 2 fights in the last,
But Josh, he beat Tyron Woodley, a former champ.
Dude, I can beat Tyron Woodley at this point. Jesus Christ. Anyways, man. I mean, I just think it's such a clear thing to do, and because of that, I don't think the UFC will do it. But whatever. That's essentially all my thoughts on it. As far as any other thoughts on that, or anything else on the MMA, boxing, or anything else we might talk about?
No, I think we touched up on everything pretty well. I mean, it was a lighter week, and we were able to fill it in pretty well. And we'll be back with a preview here next week. Luckily, we come back in the mix pretty quick, though, and we still had I think we had a fair bit to talk about. And after that, it's a pay-per-view, so we're chilling.
I mean, this is longer than last week.
Really?
We're at 1 hour 15, so.
There you go.
So there you go. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this week. Obviously, next week will be way more jam-packed in terms of content and stuff, but hope you guys did enjoy. I kind of like these news topic episodes. We're pretty rare when we do them, but I enjoy it. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the show as well. I'm at Josh Evanoff on Twitter. He's at Ortega_01 at Courtside Sound for all things related to the show. Feel free to subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and everything else. Feel free to go ahead and subscribe, give us a rating on there. Hope you guys enjoyed. Peace and butt grease. Mouse click.